there, and welcome back to another episode of The Mansions. I am this old gamer. I'm thrilled to have you along for the ride today, as we are all set for another episode of The Mansions. Happy birthday, Dale. This beautiful mansion we built in our last episode, and the backdrop of Sloop John City. But today we are going to build right over here on this little property to the west. Or is that the east? I don't really know. There's no compass on this map, as there's no compass on any City Skylines map, to my knowledge. That'd be kind of a cool mod, like a compass. It would help me as far as saying to the east or to the west or whatever, because I usually, when I say that, I'm just making stuff up at that point. I have no clue which direction is which, if you haven't already noticed. So we are using our terrain tool to build us a nice little beach here. Now over here where I'm turning the sand into grass, that is for a later episode. We're actually going to do something a little bit different over that way. That is not going to be mansion property. This is actually going to be the last episode of the mansions, I think. I think I've built quite a few. Now we might do something a little different with some mansions that are not going to be just these individual ones that I go into the super high detail with. I think I'm going to probably do something. Got some other mansions in my repertoire that I have not used just yet. This is the last mansion by one Tomas, or is it Thomas? This is the last one that I downloaded from him or her, doesn't really matter. I love this one, and I love this little garage drive under connection thing. Just one of those ritzy, pointless things, but pretty cool how these garages face each other. I really like how that works. And I'm using these little gates, these little arches, as an opportunity to put in some cool little lamps here. So we're just moving those in between the pillars here, like so. This one is called Mansion Dada, D-A-D-A, Mansion Dada. And it is by Tomas. So, as you can tell, we use some decals. Now, one thing I'm not doing, and I probably shouldn't have done it actually, in retrospect to the other mansions. This is not an actual road, so you will not get the cars driving up and down it, but as you can tell from the other mansions, they just basically, cars just go up and down it like it's a road, which it is a road, but I don't really want them to treat it like a road. And, you know, you can turn off the parking and do stuff like that, but they're still going to drive in and out. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to go back and change that. Probably not. That's a lot of work. Who cares, right? This is a really cool gate that I've been really wanting to use, and this is a perfect opportunity, as that driveway just goes straight out to the suburb road. This is getting really close to the common folk in the suburb area, so we can't be that close to the commoners. These mid-class individuals can't have this mansion too close. But a beautiful gate and fence set up here, and I believe that's called the Ascora gate, Ascora fence. I'll have to look that one up. Yeah, I'll have to see. Now, instead of throwing down curbs, I actually just used the mulch decal and went around the house with it. And I kind of like how that looks. It gives the resemblance of a curb or a shrubbery area, but it's just the mulch decal. And then here on the back, we're using these very large decals, these brick decals that have the square and a square look. And they kind of match the decals out front, so I like that. And they have a really cool pathway that you can bring off of them, which you see there, that's leading into nothing at the moment. I'm kind of doing some of the vegetation as I go here. Now here I'm using a little koi pond. This koi pond it has multiple pieces. It's a really cool asset. So it has multiple pieces. They drop down as buildings, and you can connect these however you want. So you could actually make a gigantic koi maze if you wanted to, whatever you wanted to do. You could make a gigantic version of it because these all interlock. There's a right piece, a left piece, a center piece. So what we're doing here is we're just having we're kind of using these tiles as a bridge. Now you see how that decal is just sinking into our koi pond? Well, we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is, which I already did, is put a surface piece underneath there. And then we're going to have to use the Move It mod and duplicate that surface piece so it elevates the entire thing, because otherwise it would look funny. So that's what we did there. We see it elevated that, so that's all elevated. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just take this little step slab thing that I've used several times to just kind of hide elevation weirdness. And that's what we're doing here. We're just kind of using it and duplicating it over and over just to resemble a elevated piece. So that kind of hides that elevation where you cannot tell that it's just all one piece. Instead of being, because decals are flat, the surfaces are flat obviously as well. So this kind of takes care of that situation, but that's obviously not all that interesting. So I do apologize for that. Hey, the koi actually move. That is impressive. That is attention to detail. Time for a time lapse. Now, on further back on this property, I decided to convert the fancy fence over to a regular chain link fence back here. It kind of holds up the property, but even for the richest of rich, there's really no point in having this incredibly expensive gate just go forever. So it's going to go all the way down to the coast, more or less. And now we're extending this pathway, and I'm using this moon gate arc prop. This is kind of like a Chinese prop, and this is a Chinese billionaire who lives here. Yep, and we're using these hedges to kind of make this moon gate look a little bit more realistic. Am I calling it the right thing? Hold on, Steam check incoming. Let's see. Moon gate. Let's see if this is right. Yes, moon gate. This is a moon gate by Hike, H-I-K-K-E, Hike. This is a where is this? Oh, I need a conversion. I'm not going to take the time to do that. This is ancient Chinese moon gate, an ancient Chinese moon gate. So we're using these moon gates as an entrance to our little Zen garden, as I like to call it. And then we're going to have two pathways going out of this Zen garden. And then again, we're using these large hedges as kind of like corner pieces to that. We're going to have to do a little maneuvering here of our moon gates. Love the way those look though. They're very unique and you can do a lot of fun stuff with them. Now here, speaking of fun stuff, I'm using procedure objects on decals, which is a crazy thing to do because it doesn't really necessarily work right. And then I am making this gigantic ancient Chinese temple into a very, very small one. Just as kind of a yard ornament here. We're just kind of putting over here. But yes, using those decals, those rock decals and procedure objects works really well. It kind of turns them into little rectangles, but it makes them fit here. And I'm just kind of covering up anywhere that they're kind of sticking out. We're just using some bamboo, some more palms, and then some of that green grass that just works perfect with just about anything. And put little plants around our little Chinese temple. There we go, perfect. I like that. So this was a nice little relaxing area. Everybody's having a very competitive time in this neighborhood of the richest of rich. It's a battle for the nicest 1%er's yard, and I think this one's going to take the cake. I really do like this Chinese look. I got into some of the Chinese decor at one point over the last 10 years. I remember I bought some like little Chinese tabletop candle looking things and some other random stuff that made absolutely no sense. I never really used them for anything except I put coins in one of them. I remember that. This was back when I lived in an apartment. This fountain is not working. Let me see if I can get some water running to it. There we go. Nice and flowing. Didn't mean to do that. Sorry. I don't know if the water actually turned it on or if it just needed some time to start running. We're using these large corner curves. These triangle shaped curves work perfect here. Just like that. Now we are going to take this fountain and we're just going to move these decals around just a little bit. I like how those decals kind of go over the sidewalk, and they don't really glitch as much as the normal decal on decal action. No glitching going on with this one. And here are some little, again with the Chinese theme, some sort of, I don't know what exactly you'd call these, like a Chinese bird bath. That's definitely not right. These are props that are just like little vine palms that were just kind of sticking out just to give this some texture. I like these curves, but they have a very strange green to them. So we're going to be adding a lot of stuff that's kind of flat just to kind of cover that up a little bit. And then we're going to throw in these little white bushes. And here in a moment, we're going to just add some palms just to kind of finish that off. I'm using these like little palms. I haven't really used those too much, so I kind of like the looks of those. Now let's see. Oh, bummer, that gate does not cooperate with procedural objects, but I have an idea. We'll use this Chinese Chinatown street light. We'll actually just take the light out of there using procedural objects, and then that'll make like a little cool little decoration to this area. That works out really well, although that did not go where I wanted to. I want it on top of the hedge, just like that one, just like so. Well, how's everybody doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm starting my crazy time of the year. I'll be working a lot of hours, probably close to 70 hours a week for the next 3 weeks, and then it gets down to 60 and then back to normal basically. So this might be my last video for a little while. Who knows? I'll squeeze them in when I can, per the usual. It's not going to be too much different for my viewers, but I always appreciate your support. Really means a lot. I'm having a blast making these mansions. They're not getting a ton of views, but that's okay. You know, I just do these for fun anyway. But don't forget, you know, I still have that deal on the table if you promise to tell.
Remember, if you promise to tell 3 friends about this old gamer, I'll throw in a free set of steak knives, absolutely free. Just pay for shipping and handling.
Anytime, all right? Just don't hold me to it. I'm going through here and putting in some additional flowers and things. Just kind of wanting to cover that grass a little bit more, and we'll do so like that. Plus, you know, when you see these kind of gardens, these very elaborate gardens, especially with this Chinese theme, I wanted a lot of vegetation over here, and that's what I did. Now, I am not going to go to the same extreme that I went on our last mansion, building a staircase from scrap, because that was kind of a pain. And here, this just goes straight out, so I'm just using this prop staircase, which I think works out just fine here. This is ultimately, if you were kind of noticing, this is tied into the same beach that the last mansion shares. So what I decided at the beginning of the episode, you might remember when I did the terraform. I went all this far. So you might remember at the beginning of the episode when I was maneuvering the landscape, I kind of built a little bit of a ridge, and then I turned the sand into just regular grass. That's because this beach is actually going to be cut off from the rest of the coast that goes down a little bit further. And there might not actually be much of a beach over here, because I've kind of been doing some thinking of what I want to do on that end of the island, and more to come on that. I'm not gonna give anything. No spoilers here. No spoilers at all. I'm not gonna give anything away. But I am going to do something a little bit different down that way, but this is going to be a private beach. So that's going to be kind of what this ends up being down here. A private beach for these two shared properties, one large beach. Here I'm doing the same thing, just using the street light to kind of make a couple more corner decorations, and that's about it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the mansions. Like I said, this is probably my last mansion. Maybe we might do something else fun with mansions a little bit later, a little bit something different, but still involving mansions. Why do I keep spoiling everything ahead of time? I don't really mean to. I love how these fountains look. Those are some amazing looking little props to just add a nice little touch. And this Zen garden. Oh, I just want to go sit there on that bench and do nothing. That's all I want to do. That's my goal in life. But it will not happen, not with 70 views. So don't forget to tell a friend about This Old Gamer. Hey, that's me. And I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed building it. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.